Hey, what's up guys? Drew here over at RevHiker Outdoors, and it might be a bad day to go to the beach when it's raining like this, but it's a perfect day to test out the new To-Go Systems BOB poncho. So I can't take you along with me because my camera equipment certainly is not waterproof, but I'm going to be out in this rain today for at least a couple hours, and I'll be back to tell you guys all about this thing and let you know how it performs, so stick around. Okay guys, so I'm back and finally inside from doing some testing on this thing. Now basically what I did was I went out into my yard. I did a bunch of yard work, picked up a bunch of sticks and wood and junk from the winter, and to me that's a good way to get a feel for this thing, because you're bending over, you're doing a lot of stuff. I'm not just standing out in the rain, so it's going to tell you if it's going to leak around the neck or if it's going to dribble in the sides or anything like that. Now, before I get into the features of this thing, which are many, let me just tell you that in any poncho that I wear, whether it's my Sea to Summit or this or any other, I always take a piece of cordage, make a Canadian jam knot, and just make like a little cinch belt to keep it from flapping underneath my arms. So I did do that, just so, you know, just FYI, for anything that any poncho I use, I'm going to do that. Now, let's get into this thing. First things first, your width on this is going to be 5'2", 5'3", and your length is, you got 3'8" per side. You double that, you end up with about 7.5 foot. So for use as a tarp, you've basically got 5'2" by 7'6" or 7.5 feet, right in that neighborhood. You know, more than enough to cover you on the ground. And if you pitch it diagonally, diamond shape, potentially enough for a smaller hammock as well, and we're going to get into that. Now let me just get into some quick features. I'm going to try to move quickly with this without missing anything, so stick with me. First thing, I'm going to talk about the snaps. Every poncho just about has snaps going down the side. So no big deal there, except for the fact that he made them double. So these snaps snap on both sides. What that basically means is if you get two of these things, you can put them together. Okay, so these snaps and then the ones on the back side, they've all been doubled. So you can put this thing together either way. You can put it together on top or underneath or however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. So that's really cool. You can easily double these, triple these, whatever you want to do with them, and they're going to stay. Next thing are the corners. Corners all have these grommets right here. Now they're kind of small, but that's probably a good thing. So what you can do with these is basically they're more than big enough to fit paracord or anything like that, and you're not going to be tying it down with anything heavier, so who really cares? But look where he put them. Now all these have a folded seam, and then on the corners it's actually quadruple thick material. I don't know if you can see that, or possibly more. So that's where he put the grommets, right in the corner where everything is stitched and put together. That's where he put the grommets. So it's about as strong as it's going to get. It's right on the edges and then in the thickest part of the corner. That's where the grommets are for using this as a tarp. Now you might have seen this big piece of Velcro here on the back. I'll get to that next. These go together, so this folds over, and these put together so the back of your poncho isn't flapping in the breeze. It keeps everything nice and tight, and they do stay. These are just big enough to where they don't have huge weight or whatever, but they still work. So they worked out really well. I thought that might have been one of my favorite things about this poncho, truthfully, because I've never seen a poncho that folds together to make the diameter less, and I loved that. That was really neat. Let's see, let's talk about this hood. You guys see this piece of Velcro here? Well, it's not pointless. It's not there for looks. When you use this as a tarp, this thing comes down and folds your hood over, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, not only will it do that, but you can cinch the hood down with these. Okay, it's got little pinch toggles on each side, so you can really cinch that down. The neck is Velcroed, and zippered. Okay, so you've got double closure there, and it's probably going to be hard because it's a little far. This is a waterproof zipper. Works super well. There's no water getting in here if you zip this up. Okay, and when Brian was telling me about when he was testing this, it wasn't too rainy, so he literally went in the shower and just let a downpour on him forever to see how this was going to hold up. And he said at first it was coming in through the zipper, so he put Velcro and a waterproof zipper, and that solved the problem. So nothing's getting in there once you get that done. And then you cinch this bad boy down when you're using it as a tarp. All right, let me just demonstrate this real quick. So you can cinch this thing down and then Velcro it, and bang, you're going to be sealed up. There's no way it's getting in there because you've got this. So anyway, there's that. So the hood, really like, and you can see all the seams are taped, by the way. But when he did this, he kind of thought of everything. The hood is just stiff enough and just long enough to where it hangs out over your face so it doesn't drip down on your face. So I really like it. Now, here's the thing. I've got a little rig in my office that I use for testing hammocks and smaller tarps. And so I'm gonna take a minute, set this up, and show you guys how to configure this in a quick tarp and with a ridge line. And then we'll kind of wrap up my conclusions on this poncho, which are probably going to be good because this thing was bomb-proof in the rain. I have yet to use it as a tarp outside, but I've used tarps this size, and this hood closure is way better than my my Sea to Summit, and I've used that as a tarp a million times, so I guarantee this will work. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to set this up as a tarp, so stick around. Okay guys, so as you can see, I am now relaxing in my toe socks and my hammock. And anyway, I use these for when I use my Vibram 5 fingers for hiking and stuff like that. So they come in great and help abate my sweaty feet. So anyway, here we go. I'm in my Eno Sub 7 hammock, and it's hard to tell from this angle, but the tarp, the poncho, whatever you want to call it, the To-Go Systems BOB poncho, the Breathable Outdoor Basic poncho, is totally covering me. Now, when I use a tarp this small and pitch it over a hammock, there's a few things that you have to remember. Number one, generally speaking, you're going to have to offset it. What I mean is you have to offset the ridge line from the line where you're pitching your tarp. So when you're pitching in the diamond, you're always going to have a side that's shallower and a side that has a steeper angle. Okay, this comes out pretty abruptly because this is the short side. This is much more of an angle because it's the long side. So what I normally do is I would move this ridge line over this way on the tree. I would have it come off this side of the tree, and I would have my hammock pitched on this side of the tree, so there's a little offset and you have a little better coverage for the rain coming straight down. As is, it will cover it, but if you have even a slight angle to the rain, there's a chance you can get it in up here. So normally I offset it, and that takes care of the problem, because right now the tarp extends past the end of that carabiner. So for water coming straight down, it's going to hit that carabiner, you're going to be fine. And if you tied something like right there to take care of any water that got past the carabiner, you'd be fine. So anyway, that's that. So for a hammock, it will cover it. Now, maybe not all hammocks. Some hammocks are longer than others. Like I said, this is the Sub 7, which means it's pretty small. It is not a long hammock. So, but like my single nest, this would barely cover, it wouldn't cover the carabiners. The end of the tarp would come right just past the end of the actual hammock itself. So unless you have a smaller hammock like this, this might not cover you. It would be really close. In fair weather, you'd be fine if it was just light rain or something like that. But if you're expecting like heavy winds and some hardcore rain, this truthfully is not going to cut it. Now on the ground, if you're just ground sleeping, yeah, this will be enough. And well, actually here you can see the hood, and you can see that waterproof zipper in there, and all the Velcro and everything. And actually, let me see if I can bend this around. Yeah, there's where the hood is Velcroed down to the side. So anyway, boy, I could just be in here all day. Anyway, guys, I don't want to make this too long, but I'm getting super relaxed. Let's see. I've got it tied out to my gear shelf and the bed, the guest bed on the other side. But anyway, I'll give you a view from this from the outside. Let's sneak out here. Sorry about the camera work, guys. Anyway, here it is. You can see how it's set up here. Bottom line, it works, and it works pretty well. Like I said, I haven't had it in severe weather, but this material is super waterproof. The seams are all taped, so I really have nothing to worry about there. Now, one other note, see how low this thing is pitched underneath the tarp? How do you guys like that ironing board over there? Boy, that's manky. Anyway, I would normally pitch this way lower, like way lower. I mean, the tarp would be way lower. The hammock would be a little bit tighter, and the tarp would be way lower. The ridge line would actually be below where my hammock straps connected. So anyway, that's a bit of a difference, but the lower you pitch this, the better weather protection you're going to have. Anyway, guys, that's that. I just wanted to show you how this thing works on there and how everything lines up, and size-wise what to expect. You can see the tarp comes out just past where the carabiner is, so you're going to be covered. Anyway, let me switch the camera up and I'll give you my final thoughts on the poncho. Okay, guys, so here are my final thoughts on the To Go Systems BOB poncho. As a poncho, works really well. Like I said, I did a lot of yard work in some pretty heavy rain, as you saw in that first segment, and it was fine. And actually, I'm making this segment several days after that initial segment, so I've used this a few times out in the rain, and it's been really good. Like I said, just with a belt on there, it really helps keep things nice and tight. So as a poncho, works really well. Love the hood, love that you can open that up and get some breathability if it's not coming down too hard. And as a tarp, I think it works really cool. I think it's awesome that you can put multiple ones together, and it's so light. And I love the hood on it. The hood rocks. I like that it has the fastener for when you're using it as a tarp. I like that it has the waterproof zipper plus the Velcro. I mean, there's really no way that water's going to slip in there and kind of get down on you. I love that you can use it over a backpack. I love that you can use it on the ground. I love that you can use it with a hammock. Now, some of you might be saying, because you know, there's always people that do. Well, you got this from To Go Systems, and you're gonna say it's great all day long. That's not the case. If you guys know the channel, you know that I'm very honest about stuff that I get, and I've had companies not send me stuff anymore because I gave my honest opinion. So it is what it is. But Brian over at To Go Systems is a good guy, and he says, please be honest in your videos, because if something is not good, before I really release it, I want to make sure those things are fixed. And we talk about these things before he brings them to market. So he's a really cool guy, and he's just trying to make a good product. So anyway, I love that this thing is OD green on one side and that it's white on the other. You could use it. It's nice and kind of subdued when you're hiking, but if you need to turn it inside out and use it as a signal thing, you totally can. Anyway, final thoughts. I think it's a really cool design. I think it's got some really good concepts in it that I haven't seen in other ponchos. As a tarp, it is definitely a minimalist tarp. This is not going to be an 8x10. It's not going to be a 12x9. I mean, it's a smallish tarp. And for hammocks, unless you have a smaller hammock, it's going to kind of be a no-go unless it's really fair weather. But if you have a smaller hammock like a Sub 7 or some of the other companies that make, I think some of the Grand Trunks have some really small hammocks. For those, they're going to be good, especially if you pitch it the proper way. if you're an ultralight guy that sleeps on the ground, this is another 5x7 type tarp, except for it's a little over 5x7.5. So little extra room, great material, and the nice thing about it is that you can use it as your rain gear, you can use it as your shelter, and your pack cover. So everybody in ultralight likes doubling or tripling uses of items. This is a great thing for that. It has its limitations. Is it going to be as good as a purpose-built tarp? Well, technically no. I mean, there is a way where this could possibly leak. So is it going to be perfect like that? Probably not. Is it going to do a really good job and really lighten your load if you can get rid of your other tarp and your other rain gear that you carry? Heck yeah, it's going to be awesome. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but I also wanted to explain all the uses for this thing because it's something that I really like. I've always liked the idea of rain gear and shelter in one, and I think in a pretty good weather situation where you're just expecting light to moderate rain, I think this would work for a hammock. It would certainly work on the ground. So anyway, guys, don't forget to put stuff in the comments if you have any questions, if you have any comments about it. Go ahead and throw them in there. And if you are interested in getting one of these, go ahead over to togosystems.com. Brian's a really good guy, and I know he's a one-man show, and he's trying to make a lot of cool products and get them out to people. So have a little patience with him, but he's a good guy, and you're supporting a good dude. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I will catch you next time. Have a great day, and God bless.